Back with us, John Morris Show on a Tuesday. We're pleased you're with us from the TFNB studios in historic Elm Avenue here in Waco. Hey, glad you're with us today. I say this a lot of times, only half in jest, but part of the fun or a big part of the fun for me in doing this show is I get an opportunity to visit with guys who I respect in the business and otherwise. I don't know how much I'd get to visit with them, but that is absolutely the case today. As Alan York joins us, he is the play-by-play voice for the Liberty Flames, and great to have Alan with us. Great to see you this morning, man. And how are things?
Things are good, John. As you introed me into the show, I am in my office here at Liberty, and I'm going to step away from the camera for just 2 seconds. I have this kind of shadow box picture of our radio crew.
Oh, yeah.
You know where I got this?
I do. Tell the story.
2017, Liberty opens up the season at Baylor at McLean Stadium. And usually the athletics director, they spruce up his box or whatever with logos of your team. We step in the visiting radio booth, and I remember you emailing me or texting me, hey, do you have a picture of your radio crew?
Right.
Didn't know what you were going to do with it, but we show up on Friday to set up, and there's this nice picture hung up on the wall. And it didn't blow me away, but it was like, you know what? It doesn't take much, that extra just kind of step to make people feel important. Nice. And I've still got it at my office, and I will never forget that. So thank you.
Thanks for mentioning that. That's the goal. And I would love to take credit for that, but I stole that idea from the Houston Astros in their visiting radio booth. They used to have pictures of all the visiting MLB crews that would be in that booth over the course of the year. And I saw that, and I thought, that is so cool. Yeah. So what we do in the visiting booth at McLean Stadium is we have all the Big 12 crews that will come through there, and then non-conference like yourself and Liberty in that year. That's so awesome. It's really fun to do. So I'm glad that picture found a good home.
Absolutely, and it's close to my heart, so thank you very much.
Very nice, very nice. Well, it is good to see you. It's good to visit with you, and I feel, as I think this through, I feel a little bit bad about having you on to talk about Brett Decker, because here we're excited to have him come to Baylor basketball, but you're losing a really good player there, aren't you?
Yeah, we are, and it's really interesting. Liberty went to the NIT this year and won a game. Round 2, went out to Reno, Nevada to play the Wolfpack. Got beat on a Saturday night and spent the night there in Reno. And the next day, we're on the tarmac getting ready to fly back home, John. And the team is there. You know, they're taking pictures of the backdrop and different things. And you just had a sense that, okay, number one, obviously this team's not going to play together again. But who's coming back? And then you start, talking to some people, not naming anybody particular, but they're like, yeah, it's a done deal. Where he's going to go, we don't know, but this will be the last time that we see Brett Decker play for Liberty. Mm-hmm. Fast forward that next week, I'm on campus and gearing up for some baseball and softball stuff we do in the spring once basketball is over with. And it's not strange to see our athletes come and go out of our athletics center. That's where the academics offices are, compliance, some of the nutrition, weight staff as well. And I see Brett Decker. Of all the people, he's the first guy I see after the season's done. And we caught up a little bit, and it was kind of strange knowing that, okay, he's not going to come back, and that's just the world we live in. But I wished him well. I said, I don't know what the future holds, Brett, but you've been a great steward of the 2 years you've been here. And he said, thank you, Alan. I said, what are you doing right now? He goes, well, I'm catching up on some homework. So academics comes first, obviously, for hopefully most of the athletes that do compete in college, but he was taking care of some academics. That's the last time I saw him. And then the news broke a couple of days ago that, Coach Drew and Baylor got his services. And Couldn't speak more highly of Brett, which I'm sure we'll dive into his game and kind of what he's about. But just a neat story to share with you, John, on the last time I saw Brett here on campus.
Yeah, I'm sure a little bittersweet there because you'd prefer to have him in a Liberty uniform next year. But tell us about him as a player first. 16.9 points per game was his average. His 3-point shooting percentage is one stat that jumps off the page. 47% from 3-point range. What else can you tell us about Brett Decker as a player?
Yeah, John, there's not a really shot on the court that he can't hit. Reminds a lot of our Liberty fans of Darius McGee, who graduated a few years back. He's kind of Darius McGee 2.0. But as you see some of the film here, one thing that has really developed, I think, is his ability to get to the rim, which his freshman year, 2 years ago, John, the media were just hammering Coach McKay, our head coach. We want to see more Brett. We want to see more Brett. And defensively, he just wasn't ready. He did show flashes the last 2 games. I got the box scores pulled up. The last 2 games of his freshman season, well, the end of the regular season, Liberty won at Western Kentucky. And he is a Kentucky native, so it's kind of a homecoming for him. He had 16 points in 16 minutes off the bench.
Oh, man.
Liberty wins Conference USA. They play Oregon out in Seattle, first round of the NCAA tournament. Came off the bench, and Liberty got beat by 29 in that game. But looking here, he had 8 points in 8 minutes.
Wow.
So he's a bucket getter. And then, fast forward to his sophomore year, defensively is really where he started to make some inroads. And if you play for Richie McKay, I don't care how good of a scorer you are. If you're not going to play defense, you're not going to see the court. And so you could tell that he really put in a concerted effort, John, to improve his defense. At this level, all the guys can score in some form or fashion, whether it be on the post, mid-range, three-pointer. There's a reason they get recruited. But defensively is really where he needed to improve. And he ascended to starting spot for Coach McKay, didn't relinquish it all season long. And you gave the numbers a minute ago. I mean, he's just lethal from deep, but he's really developed part of his game where he can drive, he can body you up, little teardrop floaters. He can do it all.
Yeah.
So I know the Baylor fans are going to be really excited to see what Brett Decker can do coming up this winter.
6'3", is that right? 6'3", 190?
Yeah.
Him as? Yeah.
Good size is pretty legit. And, he's obviously more of a outside shooter, but if he needs to body up another, guard, kind of small shooting guard, if you will, he'll do that and get to the rim.
And it seems like one of the notes that I like to see is he was in double figure scoring 31 of your 34 games this year. So it seems like he was really consistent for you guys.
Yeah, he was. Obviously, as seasons go on, John, scouting reports are out there. And so teams will start to defend teams differently. And they did for Brett. And it got to a point, I don't know what game it was, John, where you're like, okay, there's 7 or 8 minutes left. He's got 4 points. Will he get to his double-digit type of average? And lo and behold, he would.
Yeah.
And so good players obviously adjust to the ebbs and flows of what the other teams are going to do. And he did that throughout the games he played this past season.
Some of those highlights that we're running were against La Tech. You remember that game, right? I think he was 8 of 13 from 3 and had 30 points. Was that probably his best scoring game of the year?
Yeah, it certainly was. It was a game with Liberty lost. It's funny because A.J. Bates for La Tech, I think, had 32 or something.
Wow.
He just went bananas in the second half. So it takes a team effort to win games, despite how good of a scorer is. And Liberty certainly has had great teams since I've been here in 16 years. But Brett's a guy that, John, great scorer, great player, but he lets his game kind of do the talking. Some guys are more vocal and verbose, and there's more bravado. He just punches the clock, and he acts like he's been there before. And that's what I really respect about a younger player, although he will be a junior now moving forward to Baylor. But it's not a lot of show for Brett. He lets his game do the talking.
Alan, speak to Brett as a person. You talked about meeting him, and he was coming in to take care of classwork and academics. That says a lot about him. What else can you tell us about Brett Decker as a person?
Well, similar to the video you put, I texted with you last week of DJ Lagway, transfer quarterback coming in to Waco. You just don't really know. Okay, all the fans see the lights in the arena, in the stadium, and they see the people just as athletes. But what kind of person are you? And Richie McKay is not going to bring in somebody that does not fit the culture. But Brett is a guy that he fits in with what Liberty did as a basketball program. Be honest with you, outside of traveling with the team, didn't really get to know Brett that much when he was on campus, as far as interviewing him every once in a while, and kind of what we do with our interviews. Instead of the key 7 or 8 people you just hear from, I interview 1 through 15, and when the 15th game is done, I'll go back to the first person I interviewed.
Nice. That's
for
good.
our pregame. So I get everybody.
Right.
But I did share a cool moment with Brett after the tournament, Conference USA tournament was over in Huntsville, Alabama. Liberty lost in the first round as the number 1 seed, kind of deflating loss to Missouri State. And me and a couple of our radio guys, we weren't flying back to the next night. So we went out to local steakhouse, and Brett was there with his family, and very respectful, introduced me to his family, but really just a nice guy. Won't cause any trouble for Coach Drew. He just comes in, like I said, punches the clock, gets his work done. If you need him for an interview, he'll absolutely do it, but stays kind of low key. It's not about him. It's more about the team. And so that's kind of the man that this Baylor basketball team is getting here in Brett Decker Jr.
Man, that's great. That's a good snapshot. He's from, you mentioned Kentucky, Elizabethtown, Kentucky. He had a great high school career there. So we're looking forward to it, and looking forward to having him in green and gold. But again, I apologize to you that we're taking your best player away from you. But it sounds like a really good guy.
Yeah, he certainly is. I don't think the fan base will be disappointed with the job that he's going to do. And I'm sure when he gets his boots on the ground there in Waco, fans, when they get a chance to meet him, they'll be like, you know what, this is the kind of guy we need around our program, not only for scoring, but from a faith standpoint. We know Baylor is a faith-based institution, just like Liberty. So it's going to be a good fit. And Coach McKay, he's not going to prevent guys from, in this day and age, you want to compete against the best, and now they can get paid to do it. And so, Liberty's loss is Baylor's gain, but we wish him well, and we'll be cheering for him down the road for sure.
Really cool. Well, great to visit with you. Thank you very much for your time. I respect you and your work greatly. And tell Ian and Todd I said hello, will you?
I will. They're right down this hallway from me. So as soon as we're done, I'll go by and tell them J-Mo said hello.
Please do. Please do. Alan, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.
God bless you, John. Thank you, man.